Hey Nancy, how are you, girl? How's it going? I see you're watching me. What am I doing? What sucks is that I cannot play my music from my phone while I'm running a live video. Such a bummer. That's not gonna work. Let me see. Oh, Pat, you're going to bed? Okay. Sorry, it's a little late. I just felt inspired to get on. So, hey Toby, how are you? Let's see here. I want to post to my business page. Why is that not showing up? That's weird. It's not showing up on my Facebook page. I'm good. I had a pretty decent day myself. I am just getting online because I'm a little bit bored. And I'm trying to find this video I'm running right now. But it's not showing up on my profile, so I can't post it to my business page. I'm trying to get people to come over to YouTube because I have a YouTube channel that I'm running. Oh, and I have people over here. Hey, Marlene. Hey, Karen. Sorry, guys. I was on Facebook, looking at Facebook, and on Facebook on here trying to pull and post and pull and post. Hey, Sage Kuza, how are you? Thank you for loving my wings. I love the new YouTube camera. It's so much bigger and more vivid, let's say, or HD-ish. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But I'm doing a tarot pop-up. I said that I would do them in the evenings for guests of YouTube. So if you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, become one, please. I would appreciate it. And the link for the people that are watching the Facebook video, this one that I'm pointing at here with my finger, those of you that are watching on that video, the link is in the description of the video to my new YouTube channel, Facebook, YouTube. That's like, God, I can't even keep them all straight. But for some reason, it's not letting me find this video. Why is that on Facebook? Give me 1 second, guys. I will get this together. I swear to God. Okay, here we go. So now I can share this to a page, which would be my page. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 minute. There's got to be an easier way to do this. I know that there is. I'm just like kind of doing it the handicapped way. I don't know. So hey, buenas noches, Janice. I don't know what's going on. Toby, things are good with me. Just been hanging out a lot, trying to figure out some stuff for myself personally. Trying to figure out if I'm gonna stay in Mexico or not. Been working on some stuff. Been working on this business, trying to branch out into YouTube. Is it too dark in here? Maybe it needs to be lighter. Well, that's better, I guess, but the fan is going to start going. If the fan starts annoying anybody or giving anybody like weird seizures, let me know and I'll turn it off. So I'm trying to make some decisions about my life. Life decisions. I'm trying to make some life decisions about whether or not I want to stay in Mexico or not. It's nothing that's wrong with Mexico. It's more that it's what's wrong with me. If that makes any sense at all. I am I don't know. Like I've been here 9 months now and it's been great. It is paradise, but I'm not on vacation. Like I need to be building my business. And I think that although I have been being more dedicated of recent, I still am not, I don't know, I'm not getting the results that I need. And so I think I might need to go back to the States and act like a normal person, get a real job. Not get a real job, but like still build the business, still shoot videos, still try and follow my dream of being a reader, but maybe not trying to do it in Mexico. I don't know. We'll see. It's all up in the air. I feel conflicted about the whole thing, to be honest. Part of me just thinks it might be easier to go back to the States, but I'm not looking forward to it either. Because I left the States because I wasn't really enjoying being in the States because of where we were at politically. There was just a lot of weird shit going on in the country that I didn't agree with. And a lot of people that I like had political viewpoints that were different than my own. And not that I want to challenge them or say that they're wrong, but it was kind of depressing to see that people you like and respect, sort of feel so completely opposite than you. It's a sort of a sobering wake up that like it's not fun to have. And I'm going to be quite honest, as a gay man, it doesn't feel like a country that's very welcoming to me, to be honest. Just with Mike Pence as the vice president, stuff like that. But if you're not gay, you probably wouldn't understand that. So, anyways, let me see here. Where do you think you want to move to? I'm not sure, Nancy. I'm thinking, I don't know. I could go back to Texas. I do have a home there near my mom, but I don't think I want to go back there because I left there because I was kind of bored. And it is rented right now. I'm thinking maybe Oregon, which I know Oregon is kind of a little rednecky and weird, but at least like cities like Portland are very green and progressive. I was thinking Florida because I really like being in the warmth. That's one thing I learned about being in Mexico is I do like the warmth. But it's hard when you don't know the language and you want to speak and communicate, and you need to speak and communicate to be able to get things done. It's a challenge and it's fun. And at first it was fun and it was new and I was full of energy. And now I'm kind of like, como say what? It's sort of like, and it's me. It's not Mexico. It's me. I don't know. But who knows? I could end up staying. I keep praying about it and I meditate about it. I am having dreams about it, kind of pseudo nightmares. I actually had a dream the other night of me and three human beings were packing up and getting in a car and driving away. And then it dawned on me, like that morning when I was having coffee, I'm like, who were those three people that I was like moving with in the dream? And I thought, you goofball, you have three dogs. Those were just your dogs in human form. I was like, oh my God. So I don't know. And a large part of it is my dogs. I just feel like I kind of want them to have a yard again. They don't really have a yard, not much of one here. There's a little concrete area in front of the house filled with a bunch of plants that I don't know if they're completely poisonous or not, but the dogs insist on playing Sizzler salad bar every time they go out there and they start eating plants. And I'm like, no. So me being the neurotic mother that I am, I don't let them out very often. Anyways, this is a lot of information to be giving you guys. A lot. But so yeah, so that's where I'm at personally, since somebody asked, and somebody did ask. But I told everybody that from the YouTube channel, I would do a couple of free readings at night, on nights when I was inspired. And tonight I felt inspired. So I'm on my YouTube channel. I have a whole 5 viewers right now. So one of those lucky 5 people is going to get a reading. Since there's so few on YouTube, can I get a raise of hands of who are the 5 that are in here now? Because I see some people that have commented, but I don't even know who's. Colorado, Nancy, that's a good idea. But I don't know if I want to do the snow again. I did Provincetown and that was fucking cold. And I think that the thing is where I go next, it doesn't have to be the last place I go, but I would really like it to be at least the second to last place I go. The other thing too that's tripping me out, the this is so stupid. I worry about stuff all the time, just like most everybody does. But the thing that's tripping me out too is two of my dogs are very close in age. They're each going to be 7 this year, and bulldogs, like their average age is to like 8.4 months or something, 8 years, 4 months. I'm hoping mine live longer, right? But bulldogs are a lazy breed to begin with. They're lovable and wonderful, but they're very lazy to begin with. But as they age, I'm gonna have two really old bulldogs in a 3-story house in Mexico in the heat that I'm gonna need to lug up and down the stairs. And I just think logistically that may not be ideal for me or the babies. So that's another reason for maybe going somewhere other than Mexico. But I don't know. It's just all swimming in my head. Christ, I can use a reading. But that's why I'm getting on and giving you guys readings so that I can get out of my shit and help you get through yours, is the idea. Ooh, I now have 6 people watching on YouTube. LA, Marlene, I'm not sure about LA. I know that there's nice areas in LA, but LA to me has always, even since I was a little kid, given me a weird feeling. Like there's something, I don't know if it's, and I don't want to be rude, but I don't know if it's the smog, but there's something about waking up in LA, the air feels different. It feels like I know I'm in Los Angeles. It's this weird feeling. And I don't necessarily know that I would want to wake up to that feeling every day. I'm not so sure that I wouldn't stay in Mexico and just go to another Mexico place. But the thing is my business, the break-in that happened in my Airbnb business kind of really shook me. It just didn't sit well with me. I don't necessarily want to be in a position where if somebody broke into that apartment again and somebody got hurt, I would not, even though it's not my responsibility. I mean, it wouldn't be my fault. I just really wouldn't want to be, I would just feel really awful about that. I mean, like beyond awful. And I think that's probably me being overly sympathetic or empathetic, whatever you want to call it, but that's just who I am. So I wouldn't feel right if something happened. And that was something that was not on my radar when I was thinking about renting out an Airbnb and making lots of money and then doing readings on the side, growing my business. So I've had one attempted break-in and then an actual successful break-in, and then both in the same unit. And I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling it. So that's where I'm at. And there's other reasons that come up behind that. So anyways, that's me being honest with you. Do you like that? A little honesty for a Monday evening. So those of you that are in this room, all one of you, not only one person. Sheldon's the one person. I don't know, 2 screens. Sheldon, just remember to wipe off the screens when you're done, Sheldon, okay? Just wipe them down with a warm, moist cloth. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I will grow a pair and stay. I don't know. I'm just kind of, if I do leave, I have a lot of work ahead of me to leave out of here. So that's all going to be indicative of how easily I go and when I go and if I go and all of that. That's kind of where I'm at. And that actually feels good to, talk about it and get it out there. And then maybe that'll give it some room to move and shake and change and do all that. For those of you, I'm just going to turn my attention this way for a minute to the Facebook screen. I know there's not a lot of you, but anybody watching this video on Facebook, please, the reason why it's listed on Facebook is that I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be moving all my readings over to YouTube. The address is in the description of the video. Okay, so let me see here. I'm trying to catch up on these. So West Hollywood, I don't know about West Hollywood. I'm not that kind of gay. And that's the thing that I gotta say too, here in Vallarta, I feel like there's a lot of that kind of gay. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just, I've never felt that sort of like included in that club. If some of you know, some of you maybe don't know, I used to be really heavy or like bigger. And so I was never, I don't know, like one of those pretty successful, I don't know, West Hollywood gays. So I don't necessarily know that I fit in there, or I don't feel like I fit in there on the inside. I'd prefer to be with, like, I don't know. I love the Mission. Like when I was in San Francisco in the Mission, I loved it. Like I didn't mind the Castro because there was a real mix of like you had your pretty successful gays, and then you had your like punk rock gays and your art gays and your drag queen gays and all of these different mishmash of people. And I lived in the Mission, which was very, Hispanic, but also artistic, and there was gay people. It was just a mishmash of people. I love San Francisco for that reason. It was such a small city. It felt really homey, and it had a lot of cultural diversity. But I haven't found anything quite like that since then. And from what I understand, and since I've been back there, it's not really the same San Francisco anymore, and it's too expensive, so I wouldn't want to go back there. I do love being here from the cultural standpoint. The only thing is sometimes culturally I don't fully understand Mexican culture, and that makes me a little bit nervous. Just because, like, you can offend people just by talking too directly to them, even though you're not meaning to be offensive, and they won't let you know. Like Mexican people are very they will get confrontational, but they're usually pretty respectful and kind of just don't tell you what they're thinking and just sort of walk away. And you don't even know that you've totally insulted them inadvertently by just being too American. And so I'm like, oops. Anyways, so let me see. Let's go to Sedona. We would be welcome there. I've thought about Sedona because it's warm and it's super spiritual, and I would dig it there. I would like to check it out first. Sedona would be an option. Florida has definitely always piqued my interest. Georgia, I don't know why I've always had a fixation with Savannah, Georgia. I just like saying it. Savannah, Georgia. Let's have mint juleps on the veranda. But I don't know if I want to be in Georgia. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to the Gulf Coast of Texas. I like being near the ocean. I love being near the water. And I think the best kind of water to be near is ocean water because of the salt. But I could do like Portland, because Portland's like near a river and on the coast. It's inland, I think, but there's the river and you're at least close enough to the coast. Real estate and everything, cost of living is so much cheaper in places like in the middle of the country, like Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. But I don't know if I could live that landlocked and enjoy myself. I don't know. That's just me personally. Holland Stevens, Hackler, what are you doing? And Weasel, B. Fleckenstein, what are you guys doing? Subscribe to my YouTube channel, damn it. It's in the description. I'm doing ratings over on YouTube. I just have this up to kind of... Hi, Holland. How are you? I miss you. So anyways, let me see. I'm missing all these comments on YouTube. So let's go to Sedona. We discussed that. You have 6 here, not 1. Oh, no, I had 1 over in Facebook is what I meant. When the time's right, well, you'll fit right in. You have to make it fit in yourself. That's so funny, Nancy. You're absolutely fucking adorable. Stop that. Comment got like flagged by YouTube, and I had to approve it to be able to allow it to go into the chat because it thought it might be deemed offensive. Then what little they know about my mouth. Anyways, Athens, Georgia, that could be interesting. I would love to go. I also need a husband, man. I need to find a husband. I am 46 years old and do not have a husband. And God, I could use a husband. A nice Southern gentleman. That sounds nice. Anyways, so is there anybody in here that I have in the YouTube room? I miss you too, Holland. I miss you a ton. You know it. I know it. It was good to talk to you the other day. You need to rent me your little house in the backyard is what you need to do. I thought about that. I was like, maybe she wants 3 bulldogs and an old gay man living in her backyard, and then that way I can watch her baby and Levi whenever she wants to go on vacation. Okay. Let me see. Oh, you're not a bad influence, Nancy. Trust. I swear like a trucker. Like a trucker. Okay, so this is a tarot pop-up, basically, is what I'm calling it. You know, they have food pop-ups where people like rent restaurants for a night and do special food. I'm doing a tarot pop-up tonight. So I'm gonna offer somebody in the room a reading. And since there's not a whole lot of people, I might actually just do a full gig reading, like, you know, 5 or 6 cards for somebody, and maybe do 1 or 2 of those since there's not a whole lot of people. I would love to do one for somebody that I haven't done before. I don't think I've done Marlene Munoz. I don't think I've done Karen Albano. Those names seem new to me. That's Connor's room now, but you're always welcome for a visit. Awesome. Well, when Connor gets sent off to boys' school, let me know. Just kidding. Okay, so Sheldon says, bitch, read me. All right, Sheldon, I will read you. So Karen Albano raised her hand too. So let me do Karen's first really quick, and then Sheldon, because he called me a bitch, and I know he's challenging me because he wants to see how well I can read him, I will do Sheldon. All right, so Karen, give me one moment while I connect. I need the music. Muzak and this biatch. 1 second. Where is the cord for this? Excuse me, baby girl. Oh, you're laying on the cord. That's okay, you can stay there. Hold on, Biba. Daddy just likes a little background. All right, Karen, give me one moment. All right, Karen, I'm going to say this. A couple things popped up for me while I was shuffling the cards for you. First off, I want to say that there's a fair amount of tension in the cards. Like, I was feeling tense all through here, like tightness in my chest. I don't know what that was about. And I feel like there's a fair amount of resistance. Like, you feel like you're pushing against a lot of stuff right now, or having to fight against a lot of stuff to try and get accomplished what you need to get accomplished. The other thing I want to ask, and this is weird because this doesn't normally come up for me in shuffles, is I feel like I was looking at a hospital room, like either, I don't know if you were sick or somebody is sick, but it might be the cause of the tension. Like, I almost felt like there was a struggle over it. I don't know if it's the struggle over the health of yourself or of the patient, but it was all right through here. Like, I just felt like as I was shuffling the cards, I just went, like I was trying to control things and push against it really hard. Does that make any sense? Can you just give me a yes or no, please? Karen, is that oh my God for me? Yes. Okay. Thank you. That lets me know that I'm attached to the right energy, because God knows where you are. I'm on the way in Mexico, girl, but here we are. So yeah, there was definitely through this area. Okay. And it was tight, and definitely, like, I kind of feel like somebody else is sick or something, or was sick, and you're fighting to keep control of the situation. Not control, but like, I don't know, like manage the situation, if that makes sense. That's a yep. Okay, thank you. All right, so now we're just sort of doing a general reading, but that's just what comes up for me in this shuffle. So the way that I set up the cards is the center card is the you card. This is the card that sort of signifies you as, hey, Ducky, I see you over there in Facebook land. I'm glad you're here to join us. I'm doing the tarot pop-up over here at YouTube. So anyways, your center card is the you card. I call it like your default setting. This is where you're at any given moment in your life right now. Okay, so this card is constantly changing, but for the most part, this is where you sort of return back to, no matter what you're dealing with, your default setting. And the reason why I look at this is it tells me sort of where you're at most of the time right now in your life. But from that, we can also sort of tell like sort of what we're creating too, so that we can sort of know what to expect in the future. Oh, interesting. It's everybody. Oh, great. So I don't always do inversions with cards, but the cards have come up inverted tonight, and I have a reason to think that there's a reason. I have a feeling that there is a reason for this. Okay, so I'm going to read it to you with the inversion a little bit. And sorry, Facebook, if I look like I'm avoiding you, but I'm looking at the YouTube camera. I'm going to interpret some of the inversion and also talk about, you know, ways of changing it. Okay, so here we go. Are you with me, Karen? Are you with me, my dear? Just give me a heart symbol or something so I know you're still here and you're following my lead and you're connected with me. I just want to know. Okay, cool. So at the center of this spread is the Magician, and it's upside down. I feel like if there is a sick person or there was a person that was sick, this is that person. Like, and it's a male. I feel like is that correct? Is that correct? Can you give me a yes or no, please? I feel like this is not even about you. Your center card. Your center card. It feels like your attention is so focused on this person and their problems that it's like it's not even about you. It's about them. Which is not necessarily how you want to be, or it was female. Okay, well, let me ask you this: was it a very strong female, almost like masculine in nature, or pushy? The Magician card to me is somebody that is very charismatic, is very strong, it's generally masculine, but it could be a very powerful woman, right? I feel like it's inverted. Like when I'm looking at this, it feels like you're dealing with, your focus is all on them and not on you. Like you give so much of your time and energy and space to them that, hey, that girl, I see you. Thank you for sending love. But I feel like there's also some issues that they have, some personal issues, maybe some compulsive issues, possibly some drinking issues, things of that nature, things that could potentially be avoided, but they choose not to. They sort of think that it's all about them. And I have to say this too, it's kind of like they're unwilling to deal with their own shit, so they expect you to. Does that make sense? Oh, that girl is Ducky. Okay, hey Ducky. Are you with me, Karen? Okay, bingo. Good. Thank you. So the next card, and I'm just doing brief. This is like a full card spread, but I'm doing like sort of brief run through on it. So just to give you an idea, okay? So I'm going to kind of speed through it because I want to get to Sheldon's also. Hey guys, over there in Facebook, please look in the description of the video. I'm doing a tarot pop-up on YouTube right now. Please find the YouTube address and subscribe to my channel and come over to YouTube, and you might be able to get a free mini reading on YouTube, okay? All right, so the next card is the foundation. And what I mean by foundation is the foundation is sort of like when I use the term foundation, like when we build a house, we lay the foundation first. So the foundation is what everything is built upon. So this card represents something from the past that sort of opened the door for everything to be the way that it is today, right? It's also the thing that sort of holds everything in place, like the memory, the belief system, whatever, that is holding everything in place the way that it is today. So this is the Ten of Crystals, and this is delusion. So this is like, crystals deals with the mind, and delusion is an interesting concept in my book. We go in and out of delusion all the time. But when I look at this card, I feel like there was a period of time in your past, and I'm getting this hit about like, and I could be wrong, you could let me know, but I want to say like 5 years, maybe 6 years ago, where you were extremely lonely and by yourself. Does that make sense? I feel like when I look at this card, there was a lot of resentment and possible anger on your behalf, maybe justified, right? Maybe you were, holy fuck balls. Thank you, Karen. That's probably the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me. Oh, I should show that comment just so that people believe you that you're actually saying "holy fuck balls." I might have to take the comment moderator off because it seems like I'm hanging out with a bunch of sailors in this room. Anyways, so this is a period 5 or 6 years ago where you were kind of by yourself, okay? And I want to say this. The delusion part is that you were really hard on yourself during this period, even though you were suffering from, say, a lot of anger, a lot of loneliness, a lot of resentment. And it feels to me like these things were justified. Like maybe there was experiences that had happened to you where you needed to cut everybody out of your life, or you needed to take that time for yourself, but you kind of felt like you were like stranded on an island in a way. And but the delusion part is that you didn't have to be stranded, you kind of chose to be, right? And so it's funny that this card is the foundation, because when I look at this card and then I ask, like, okay, so why is it the foundation for this inverted magician card, this woman that is the focus of your center right now, or this woman that's sort of sucking up space in your center, let's call it what it is. It almost says to me, or the answer that I get is sort of like, she might be, how do I want to put this? I don't want to say she's like your only friend or anything like that, because I don't necessarily know that she's a friend to you, but maybe you feel obligated to her in some sort of way because of the memory of this sort of lonely period when you were so angry. Maybe this person a long time ago, your Wi-Fi is crap. Is that why you're saying holy fuck balls? It's not the reading? Oh, I thought you were talking about me. I thought you were talking about me. Anyways, I'm just going to keep going with it. So I kind of feel like you felt like you're obligated to sort of help her out because maybe she helped you out coming out of this period from a while back. Does that make sense? I'm going to go to your next card. Marlene Munoz says that's a great reaction. Karen, are you with me? I just want to know if this is making sense. I need just a yes or no, please. Just because, or like a heart symbol, something affirmative, so that I know that I'm on the right track here, because I don't want to lose you, because I'm also reading other people's comments as they come in. Like, hi, Maggie, welcome to the room. I'm reading somebody right now, so I don't want you to think that I'm not paying attention to you. No, you're fine, Marlene. Don't worry. I'm trying to get Karen. Maybe her Wi-Fi went down. I don't know, because last thing she said is my Wi-Fi is crap. All right, I'm going to continue on with Karen's reading. I may not get a whole lot of affirmation on it, but I'm just going to go through it because I did promise it to her, and she can always rewatch the video. In her soul space or spirit space, this is the card above her. This card kind of tells me sort of where the soul is at, what it's focused on, and what it's working on. This is the strength card, and I sort of feel like from a very obvious standpoint, this is about being strong in the soul space, right? That's a great card to have in your soul space. What this does tell me is it feels like, please like and share, it helps Dan. Yes, please like and share the video, I forgot. Thank you, Ducky. What this strength card in your spirit set space says to me is that, like, girl, you've been put through the ringer. It doesn't seem like maybe just this magician card is at issue. This delusion card from like a few years back, it seems like you've had a series of rough events going on and on and on. This strength card in your spirit space says to me that your spirit is very strong. You've put up with all of this stuff, certainly. But I also get this reluctance from your spirit. It feels to me like your spirit is almost kind of holding back and going, okay, what's this bitch gonna do next? And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's just sort of like, it almost seems like you've dealt with so much bad stuff or heavy stuff, negative stuff, stuff that's gotten in your way, stuff that's gotten you down, that it's kind of hard for your spirit to want to come in and really take over and say, okay, we're going to have fun and abundance. It's almost like, it's like, not that I believe that the spirit can get jaded, but I feel like this spirit is a little bit discerning, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't necessarily want to put full force. It's like sitting back and watching. There's a little bit of anger a little bit of underlying resentment here. Not that the spirit ever gets angry, but again, we've got this like I want to go to this place of like there was something that was, I don't know how personal I want to get with this. There was something from a really long, let's just put it this way. I feel like there was something from a really, really long time ago that pissed your spirit off. Let's just leave it at that. I feel like I see something much more detailed than that, but I'm not going to share it on YouTube. But I feel like there's been just a series of mishaps or events throughout your life that have been very hard. From this hardness and from this hardship and what you've dealt with, you've gained this great spiritual strength, right? But your spirit is reluctant to like sort of come forth and go like, hey guys, I'm here, because it says, oh no. And I've got to say that it also feels like your spirit's also questioning whether or not you can like sort of pick the positive or see the positive or find your way to the positive enough for it to feel sort of safe enough to step forward. Does that make sense to you at all? Yes, the reading I was. Okay, I'm gonna take that all as a yes. So if if you want to discuss this in more detail, I can certainly, you can message me at my Facebook business page. Now I'm sending you back to Facebook. But I can describe to you a little bit more about what I'm seeing in some of these cards, but I don't want to get too personal on YouTube because this is a public space. But I'm going to say this, you have an extremely strong spirit. The fact that this strength card is up there says to me that you can handle like fucking shit tons of stuff. You already have. From a long time ago, you've been handling it. It's not always been horrible, but you've gone through some heavy duty stuff. And especially heavy duty stuff, I want to say very early on in life. And so it kind of makes sense why your spirit is so strong, but this is actually a benefit. And I want to say too, not all of your cards are inverted. I thought all of the cards were going to come out inverted, but they're not. They're sort of, only this magician card in the center is inverted thus far. So this magician card, or whoever this person is that this represents, is sort of like the term energy vampire comes up in my mind. Like, I don't know how much you're allowing them in your space, but it feels like a lot because they're in your center, not you. It's almost like, and if I wanted to read this card as if it were you, I'm going to say this person has almost stolen your magic or stolen your ability to be in charge of your life. Does that make sense? So the other two cards are on either side of you. These are what I call the outside influences. These influences, Jania, girl, I see you over there in Facebook watching. Join my YouTube channel, please. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to try and move everything over to YouTube. I love the camera better, and I like that the side scroll is over here. So if you're still watching, please join the YouTube address there and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, so these are the two outside influences. They are not of you, they are around you, and they are affecting you, right? They sometimes are people, they sometimes are events. They can also be things that are more vague, like energies or belief systems even that like have an effect on us that, like we've been told them so many times, we act on them as if they're truths, even though they're not. So the first one that I flip over is the Empress. And the Empress is a great card. I like her. She is a very strong woman. I feel like when I look at this card, it feels like this is more of a sister or a good girlfriend. Like she's an equal to you in a way. She feels sort of like in control, but she keeps a sort of distance from you. In a way, like she doesn't agree with this magician card being in your center. So whoever this person is that you're giving all of this attention to, that's sort of sucking up your time and your space, this lady over here is like, girl, again, holy fuck balls. Are you saying holy fuck balls because of your Wi-Fi or because of the reading, Karen? Oh my God, spot on, 6 years. Oh, your Wi-Fi is way behind, girl. So this woman here, I feel like the Empress really wants the best for you. I don't know if it is a sister. I don't know if you have a sister. She keeps swearing, so I keep having to press approve. Approve. Oh, YouTube. So anyways, this Empress, like I feel like she's She's what's the word I'm looking for? Fuck. I was at this medium event today watching this great medium work. His name's Kennedy Morgan. And he used a word that is the perfect word for what this woman represents. Like, not compatriot, but she's like your equal, right? But this woman's a little bit above you. Like, she's a little bit smarter than you, but she's not a bitch. She's not horrible. She actually cares about you a lot. She wants to support you, but I feel like she doesn't really know how, so she has pulled back. And I feel like maybe there might be a little bit of hurt on your part, or you're like, well, wait a second, why are you pulling back? Because she really does want the best for you, but she doesn't know how to help you through this situation. It's almost like what I'm hearing in my voice, the voice in my head is she's saying, like, I'm done, like, I'm not helping that magician card anymore. Like, no, like, if you want to make that your focus, if you want to deal with that, that's on you. But like, I love you, I'll be here for you when you're ready and you realize, like, that's no good for you. Hey, Tony Denton, first time watcher from Australia. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's in the pinned post description. And anybody else in the Facebook room that's watching, I'm reading from YouTube. So if you use the link, subscribe to the YouTube channel, you may get a free reading. And you can also use any of the information to contact me if you'd like a full reading. Readings can be bought. Okay, so Karen. Okay, she's still swearing her little heart out. Okay, so that's her, right? And she really wants the best for you. I feel like when I look at this card, I feel like she's a little bit of a know-it-all, but that's okay. She's a know-it-all in a good way, and she really wants the best for you, but she's kind of not in agreement with how you're doing stuff. So she's sort of like keeping stuff over here. I feel like she's an older sister. Do you have an older sister that's like that? Can you say yes, older sister, if you have an older sister, just so I know that you're yesing me on that? If she's not an older sister, she's like a sister, but she's slightly older than you, and she's a really good friend. She's successful, like, in her own world. Loving your live, Dan, first time here. Thank you, Sage. It's Sage. Sorry, my eyes are like crazy. Karen, can you give me an affirmative on that? I don't know if you can. Oh, she says, oh, you are so spot on, I'm shaking. Awesome, Karen, thank you. Okay, so the other outside influence card is more of an energy or an event that's going to take place if it hasn't already. This is the Ace of Wands card. It's illumination. And to me, this card is always like a boom out of nowhere, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad boom, okay? So I don't want to spook you or scare you, but this feels like it's a life, like sort of a life changing, a viewpoint changing sort of experience that happens to us that kind of illuminates things into a different view or a different seeing things in a different way, how we operate in our world. It changes how we operate in our world, that sort of thing. I have a feeling when I ask, like, I have a feeling this has yet to come. It's about to come. And I actually am getting told, or I feel like I'm being told, you know, it's coming, girl. Like, there's something in your intuition that says to you, you're like, if I'm not careful, this could happen. And that's this card in a way. Does that make sense? It's not necessarily a bad happening, like, but it's going to be something that happens that sort of wakes you up and changes how you perceive things, how you do things, where you fit in your world. It may change your relationship with this magician card. It's almost like this. I want to say this because when I look at all of these cards, it's almost like I want to say that it's a fair assumption that, Karen, you expect bad things to happen to you on a regular basis. And I don't mean to laugh. I'm not laughing at you about that. But I sort of feel like when I look at these cards, it's like you have this strength card in your spirit space, but your spirit's holding back, going, okay, let's see what she does. Because, Karen always goes to worst case scenario. And you get these experiences, you almost like manifest them. That's why I feel like that this illumination card is coming. It's like you've experienced these sort of like earth-shattering moments so many times, but what you're not realizing, I think, on some level is you're almost expecting them to show up and knowing that they're going to show up, and that just brings them to you all the quicker. Does that make sense? Thank you for sharing the video, Jania. I love you. Thank you. Oh yes, please like and share the video, guys. I don't know if you can share YouTube videos, but please do. Um, so just be on the lookout for this event that could be coming, and I have a feeling it's coming soon. Like I said, I don't think it's all wholly bad or awful. I just think it's going to be like boom, and it's going to change how you perceive things and how things look to you and where things are at. The final card lays over all of this. And what I mean by the final card or the final outcome, this is the future card. This is kind of what tells us what's coming down the pipe in the near future. Now, this card is never set in stone. We have free will and choice, right? So the way that I view this card is it's like this tells me sort of a little bit about where everything is naturally heading if nothing major changes, right? So we can just sort of look at this card and say, oh, this is where we're on our way to. But if this is a card we don't want to have happen, like if it's a negative outcome or something that we're fearful of, we can certainly make choices and changes now and use this card as a warning to affect the outcome so that this card does not come to pass, okay? So I don't want you to think that this is set in stone, but it is sort of like an outcome that is kind of being set up as we speak, okay? In this card, it's interesting because you have the Empress over here. This is the Emperor. And when I look at this, it's funny. You say this Magician card is a female, like you think it's a female person that's sucking up a lot of your attention. But I almost feel like this Emperor card to me feels like this Magician card getting better or going upright and becoming the Emperor, if that makes any sense at all. I wish I could talk to you like video to video. I wonder if there's a way to do that. I bet you there's not on YouTube. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I have a feeling like when I look at this card, this is definitely a strong male figure. That's why it brings me back to that Magician card. I feel like it's upright. I want to say this. It's like this Magician card isn't like a boyfriend that drinks too much. Like, or a husband that has problems, medical problems, stuff that requires your attention. Or maybe it is this female, and she is kind of bossy and masculine in nature, and that's what this Magician card is. She's taking up a lot of your attention. I feel like this Emperor card is that person, but in a better way. Better off, still stubborn, still sort of maybe a pain in the ass, but feeling better. The other thing I want to say about this card and the definition of this card and where it's taking me to is you need to shore up and strengthen yourself. This strength card in your spirit space and this Empress card on the outside, this influence, this woman that's kind of like a little bit, she sort of distances herself and goes like, no, I don't want any of that. That's what you need to do and become more like this Emperor. You almost need to strengthen up, like use what she's sort of doing, like removing yourself from the situation, giving yourself the space, not getting caught up in the drama of it all, not getting caught up in the chaos of whatever this is, not going to the past and remembering like, you know, all the crappy things that have happened to you, and get into this place of remembering who you are and what you're worth, how strong you are, what you've been through, what you've come through, and what you can deal with. What you've put up with in the support of this person that's in the center now, that exists here now, they might get a little bit better and maybe become a little bit like this Emperor card. But I also want you to be like this Emperor card. Be strong, be loving, but do it from a place of like groundedness. Of you don't have to necessarily be all caught up in the drama to be able to love them and care for them. And I think that it'll be good for you to sort of shore up and strengthen up your sense of self in this given situation of what I've just talked about here, because there's room here, an opportunity for your life to get better than it is right now. And I have a feeling, looking at these cards, that a lot of what you've noticed or what you choose to look at or you put your attention on is kind of what goes wrong or what needs to be fixed. And you've dealt with a lot of sort of maybe mishaps or unfortunate events or that sort of thing. Well, this Emperor card, if you use this strength and you get to this place of like sort of almost like detached love, not getting all caught up, not doing, you know, what you are doing right now, and sort of separating yourself a little bit and putting up your boundaries, but still loving them from behind your boundaries where you're safe. there's some good things in there. There's growth in there for you. There's possible travel in there for you. There's possible financial changes that could happen from that if you're having trouble with your finances, which I think you might be. Those things will change, and you want them to change. You've been wanting them to change. You need them to change, but you need to stop. I almost want to say, like, stop being so goddamn codependent. Be independent, not codependent. I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. If it didn't make sense, well, then I'm sorry. If it did make sense, just let me know in the comments. Let your friends know, send them my way, have them subscribe to the channel. You can always book my links are in the About page on YouTube for my business page. You can send me an email there, or to my personal Facebook page, which is also linked there. And I can answer any questions you might have in regards to this. I'm just going to go through this deck really quick. This helps me to clear the energy off the deck. Sheldon, are you still with us? I just wonder if Sheldon's here. I promise Sheldon a reading. This is so funny. Everything is upright except for that Magician card. Oh no, that one is not upright. Okay. Interesting though. I wonder who that magician person is. See, this is the bummer part about doing this on video, is I don't get in the, when you have a reading with me over the phone or over Facebook video live, what I do is I only have you say yes or no. You're not allowed to talk at all in the first half. I just read the cards. I tell you what I see. You give me yeses or nos, kind of like a medium if you were to go see a medium. Except I don't give you evidence-based, like, there's a ring in a drawer by the bed, blah, blah, blah. I just tell you what I see, what I feel, what's going on in my head. And I get yeses and nos from you for affirmation. And the second half, I then turn the reading over to you once I'm done reading the cards, and I let you talk about your experience of what I've said and where it fits in your life. I then also am able to see more about it as you're talking about it, and pick up stuff as you're talking. I pick up from you talking, from your feelings, from your emotions, and that's when you're allowed to sort of tell me stuff. Shooting a video, I don't get that, so I don't end up getting an I. And the second half, when you talk to me, then I get my validation, because I'm like, I see where I saw and what I was feeling, and you talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why that's that way. So I kind of love the second half when somebody talks, because I then get to be reaffirmed. So with video, it doesn't really happen. So I hope you enjoyed that, Karen. Let me see here. Sheldon is here. Awesome. Okay, Sheldon, just give me one more minute. I'm just going through these cards, uprighting all of them. So, and then we're going to knock the deck so that we get all sorts of energy off of it. Anybody watching on Facebook right now? Well, it looks like there's one person, but Ducky's the only one there. Well, Ducky, you can sign out of there if you want. You don't have to be the only one over there. I'm sorry. Just, Ducky, you can be the doorman over there. You can be the doorman and usher them over to YouTube. You can just shove them from one screen into the other. Okay, so Sheldon Goober Duran. Sheldon, we are ready. Yeah, Karen, Karen says my story is complicated, to say the least. I can tell, and it's been complicated for a long time. But the problem here, Karen, and what I was seeing in your cards, which is, if we were doing a private reading, I could say this to you because it'd be more like a conversation between the two of us, is, girl, you choose the complication. That's what you kind of almost expect it. And what's happening is, in that expectation, you're kind of manifesting it. And that's why that strength card was sort of, it was there in your spirit space, but it was sort of reluctant. It was like telling me, like, I don't know if I want to come forward, because you know what? Karen's going to create some other sort of fucked up experience that's going to be complicated and not fun. And I'm not saying that you're creating it. Well, you are creating it on some level, but I'm not trying to blame you. What I'm trying to say is it's in your expectation of things being complicated, or being so used to things being complicated, you kind of expect more complication to come your way all the time, and thus you receive just exactly more of that. So I was seeing that all through your cards. If we were talking back and forth over the phone, I could probably express that to you a little bit better, but you get it. All right, Sheldon's up next. Give me one moment. I need to grab water because I need to hydrate when I read. 1 second. Oh my God, water is so good. It's crazy how my body gets when I read, like it really heats up. Okay, Sheldon. I needed that motherfucking water, girl. Okay. Ducky's directing traffic. You better have a Dayglow orange vest on, Ducky. Hey, Roz, if you are watching me on Facebook, girl, I'm doing readings over on YouTube. Subscribe and like my channel, girl. Subscribe and like this video. Share it out. I hope you're well. I hope you and the baby are well. All right. Excuse me. Okay, Sheldon Goober Duran. Give me just 1 minute, Sheldon. I'm going to shuffle the cards. All right, Sheldon, for you, I just want a simple yes or no, please. But on your shuffle, what I was getting was this idea. First off, my attention goes all to my shoulders. And what I think of is it's like you're carrying a lot of weight on your shoulders right now, or a lot of responsibility. There was also this sort of self-doubt or nerves that you couldn't complete it or finish it all. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but that's what I was feeling. And it felt like there was a fair amount of like sort of like you have to put in a lot of effort right now in your life, if that makes sense. Like the cards, when I was pushing them together, it felt like I had to really force them together. And then I was getting this feeling across the back of my shoulders, like I was carrying a lot of weight and I was like having to push through it. And there was this sort of confidence thing, like this. I mean, I want to say like almost like half of the weight on my shoulders was the idea that was almost being created from the not being able to believe here that I could get, and it's not just the not believing here, right? It was also that the conflict within the cards, the pushing of the cards, the like the day-to-day dealing with the that stuff that you face that comes at you, that also kind of adds and they pair together and make that weight on your shoulders even heavier. Does that make sense? It's like the perfect storm. So I've kind of described, I'm doing the same spread for you that I did for Karen. So the center card is the U card. This tells me a little bit about where you're centered at right now, what you're dealing with, how you're looking at life right now. Okay, so is everybody gonna have, let me see. Okay, so I'm upwriting all of these. Give me 1 minute because I've dealt them upside down and I don't think you're that much of a problem. We'll see. All right, so your center card is the Ace of Worlds. Worlds has to do with career, finance, money. It is inverted, but all of your cards are inverted. For some reason, they're coming out. It might be just the bonkers energy of tonight. I don't know. I do feel a little bit like kind of woolly, but I'm just going to read this, and if I feel like I need to include the inversion, I will. But this Ace of Worlds, and actually, you know what? I feel like the inversion is included here. I feel like you're on the road to success or you're trying to create success, but you're in your own fucking way. That's the inversion. Like this Ace of Worlds card, it feels like you need to line all of these planets up to get to this the card, which is success, right? You're trying to line up your success. You're trying to put it all together to get financial, career, material goods, everything together. That's the goal. But like the belief is, and this is why the card feels in that it needs to show up inverted today. The belief is that it's got to be a struggle to get this. It's got to be like a fight to get it done. It's got to be like those cards. I got to push real hard. I got to carry a heavy weight. I gotta. It's not. This isn't going to be easy for me, right? This is your center. This is where you're operating from. This is the belief or the center that you're operating from. What it does say to me on a positive note is that although you believe it is hard work, you're willing to put in that hard work. You have been putting in that hard work. But I want to say that what's present here in this center card is this goal of success. That is key. I think that that's a powerful thing in the sense that you are like you're fixated on success. You know it exists. You know it's out there. You know it's obtainable. You've just sort of set up this like idea that you've got to work really hard for it, and things sort of keep jumping in your way, sort of almost reaffirming that belief. Does that make sense? Similar to like what I was telling Karen, except Karen to me had more of a codependent thing going on. This to me feels more independent, like you're on your own trying to do this and you're working really hard at it, but it feels like you're almost like what's that phrase? Like nothing's worth having unless you really work hard for it. Like that's what this feels like to me. Does that make sense? Are you with me, Sheldon? Are you with me? Is that feeling like where you're at in your world right now? Can you give me like just one more yes? I see a couple yeses, but I don't know if those were from earlier. Okay, thank you. All right. So I do think this inversion is important in the sense that it just shows me that things are kind of wonky right now. They're not quite lining up. You're trying to get them lined up. You're working really hard to get them lined up, but it's just not quite happening. And the focus is definitely on, yes, this is. Thank you, Sheldon. Current yes. We have a current yes from Sheldon. So, but I do want to say that this can be uprighted. So what we're going to do, and I sometimes do this with tarots, I believe that there's magic in tarot. So as we're talking about this right now between you and I over this screen, we're giving it the energy right now to get it upright. So I'm going to take this card and I'm going to flip it upright into your spread, into your center space. What I believe, my intention when I do that, and the magic behind that, and this is your magic too, I want you to keep this in your mind, is that we're uprighting this idea of success for you. Yes, you're going to have to work at it, but you don't have to work quite so hard. You're fully capable. You can do this. The planets will line up. The universe wants to help you. Things will come together. You just have to trust that and believe that and live from that space. So we're going to upright this card in your center, and we're going to like believe that this is now your center, right? Because success was your center. It was just a little bit wonky. It was just a little bit turned upside down. And the belief was we had to work a little bit harder for it than we really maybe need to, okay? So I'm gonna go to your next card, which is your foundation card. And if you remember, this is the card that's from the past that everything's built upon. It's sort of what holds everything in place. It's the memory of everything that holds everything in place. So this is the Child of Worlds, and this is the player card. And this is also inverted. And I'm gonna say this. How do I wanna say this? I'm going to look at it upright, okay? But the inversion is instantly when I look at it and I go, okay, why is this card inverted? What I hear is that this was a lie that you were taught early on in your life. What I see in this card, because it's the Child of Worlds, and I think it's interesting that you're working with your center as the Ace of Worlds and your foundation as the Child of Worlds, it means this to me. It looks like I want to go so far as to say you probably lived in a family that struggled or that didn't have things come easily to them. You saw that a lot. I also want to say that when I look at this card, there was a lot of stuff that overwhelmed you in the world when you were young. I want to say that there was a loneliness in you when you were young, where you felt like you had to do it on your own a lot of times. And that might be stuff like, I don't know, like now I get this like maybe this is a generational thing, but I'm sort of getting this picture of like a latchkey kid, like remember when the kids that used to come home after school with the key because their parents weren't at home because they were at work or whatever. Can you give me a yes or no on any of this? Is any of this making sense to you at all, Sheldon? This is the part where I need either yeses and nos because I need to know that you're still here with me. So no, you were fine financially? Because this card inverted tells me that things didn't look like they came easily to you. Like you did not struggle. Were you lonely as a child? Am I wrong about that? Yes, totally. Okay. The reason why I see this loneliness, like I'm looking at this child here in the midst of all of this, and this is all of the overwhelm. Okay. And so when this is the child of worlds, you were learning your lessons as a child about material wealth, about material things, good, career jobs. You were studying all of that sort of stuff going on around you. So I'm assuming this is where I'm connecting that possibly you felt like somewhere in your childhood you learned that anything you need to gain you have to work extra hard at, is what I'm saying. So maybe you guys weren't poor, but maybe your mom worked really hard for every little bit that she had. Is that the case? Give me a yes or no on that. Because I'm feeling like these two are connected in that way. They're both worlds cards. And this being the foundation card is telling me that sort of you learned, yes, we were taught that, and my parents worked hard. Okay, that's what it is. And I feel like that's why this success card is upside down, is because this child was taught a long time ago that there needs to be all of this stuff going on and all this busyness and I also want to say this loneliness thing too is like, I mean, I don't want to get too personal, but like, were your parents working so hard that maybe you felt like you were left alone? Because that's kind of where I feel like it makes me feel sort of sad in my heart a little bit. I don't know if that's true, and you don't have to answer if you don't feel like you want to. But I sort of feel like all of this stuff going on around this child was all maybe the stuff of the family, like the work and all of that stuff, and it was overwhelming. And the child sitting in the middle, learning all these lessons, studying everything, like going, oh my God, this is what life is like, which leads us now to our adulthood, and we're working really hard to try and have success, and we can't quite get it because we're working really, really hard because we learned somewhere a long time ago that we had to work really, really hard, but really, really hard brought us nothing but loneliness and sadness and not good things. Do you see what I'm saying? Dan, just an FYI, I'm seeing responses much earlier than you are. You're not seeing responses as live as most of us. That's probably true. I'm on Mexico internet, so it's spotty. Okay, so you do see that. All right, cool. Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you for that confirmation. All right, so I'm going to go to your soul space. I'm also upwriting this Child of Worlds card just because we want to bring her or him. I don't mean to out your ladiness, Sheldon. We want to bring him into present time, right? Yeah, it's true. If we work hard for something, certainly we can attain it, but we don't have to work overly hard or suffer in our hard work to be able to have what it is that we want. And that's just as much of a lesson. The saying that to you helps me hear it. Like it helps me just by hearing it, because I get caught in that same sort of trap of, oh, I've got to work really hard and do this and do this. And it's that. We don't necessarily, hard work can get us our goals, but we also don't have to stress out and melt ourselves down, so to speak. Does that make sense? The top card is your spirit or soul card. This is the Fool Child. And the Fool Child is the first card of the major arcana. And this is an interesting card to me from the standpoint that it's like full on, it can go both ways. It can be full of fear, but it can also be completely brave at the same time as a card, how it represents in the tarot. When I see this in your spirit space and I look at it, It feels like there's an idea. First off, I want to say that there's an idea that's burgeoning right now in your spirit space that you may not fully even be aware of yet, but there's this plan that's happening. There's this idea that's happening. I also feel like there's a little bit of indecision here on whether or not this plan wants to be released or be brought to fruition. And part of the reason why, it's funny because I saw this with Caring's too, is this sort of reluctance a little bit in the spirit space. This is sort of similar. It's like this plan is brewing up here of what your spirit wants for you or what the goal might be. You might be working towards a goal right now that you think is going to be the goal that's going to bring you the happiness, but I feel like there's something else next that the spirit has already got incubating, so to speak. And the reason why I say that, there's this baby right here, and it's really drawing my attention. And I feel like this baby, this incubated fetus, is like the next thing. Okay. So you might be working really hard at this one thing in your career space, trying to get success and feel accomplished and think this is going to be the thing that you're going to arrive and be okay. And this card is telling me he's going to get there, but when he gets there, he's going to find that there's something new. There's something new that the soul's created that we want now or that we desire. This also being the Fool Child card to me says that I kind of feel like your soul isn't really necessarily 100% sure when and where it wants to release this to you because these other two cards were inverted. So I feel like the stress that you're under or the worry or the extra work that you're putting yourself through just to obtain sort of the successes you're looking for now, like now is maybe not the right time for your spirit to put forth this new idea. Does that make sense? This incubating idea, this new baby, so to speak, is what I'm looking at in the picture here. But it's not a baby. You're not pregnant. Don't worry, girl. You're not pregnant. But it's like this whatever this next phase is that your soul's got cooking up and planned, it hasn't yet quite picked the right, when is going to be the right time to share it with you. Does that make sense? So if you're feeling like unguided or uninspired right now, this is part of it. Like it's being held off. Does that make sense? Like, so if you're feeling like uninspired is a really good word. Like I almost feel like the success card is almost like plodding along and you're like, oh fuck, if I can get this to this point, everything will be fine, everything will be good. But I think even on some level, even when you get to that point, and you may not even be completely happy because this card is up here incubating. And that's maybe some of the frustration too. Like now I'm feeling like sort of this funny frustration in my body of like, kind of going like, well, then why the fuck am I doing this? Why am I working so hard for this success when this isn't even the thing that I love so much? This isn't even like it's almost like already that like, even if you obtain this goal, it's still, you think it would be enough or you're telling yourself it would be enough, but maybe on some deeper level, you kind of know like, no, there's something else, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And you can't, and that's because your soul's like, okay, well, let's get you through to this success first. Let's get you to this level first, and then we'll unveil this new thing. Does that make sense? Okay, so just that makes sense. We're going with it. All right. So, outside influences. These are on either side of you. So you have the Nine of Wands, which is integrity, but it was inverted. I'm flipping it over just to look at it. I'm going to say this, Sheldon. I feel like you have two men, because I'm looking at the other card too. I feel like you have two men on either side of you. Integrity doesn't necessarily always show up as a male figure to me, but when I look at it inverted, it feels like there's a man here that's not to be trusted. I feel like he's giving you bad advice, or he's sort of weighing you down. He's judging you in some way, or, and no, girl, it's not me. I'm just kidding. I feel like he's sort of making you feel bad or making you, how do I want to put this? Like, it's like the opposite of integrity. Like, He's almost questioning your integrity, making you question your integrity, challenging your integrity. But what it is it's like his integrity that's in question, really, that he doesn't really have any. I have a woman in my life like that. Okay, this could be a woman. It feels, I also want to say this, it feels like maybe religious in a way, like they might be using religion or um, uh, sort of old school beliefs also against you. Does that make sense? So if it is female, like, because when you say female, then I get a picture of a nun. I don't know why, but it does feel sort of like old school beliefs, uh, like those old beliefs, like similar to like what we were talking about, like, oh, I got to work really hard to get what little I get, kind of thing, and I got to work harder to get more of the little bit of the pie that I get, that kind of thing. Well, there's always your mom. Is your mom super religious? Is your mom a nun? Oh my God. Does that make you Jesus Christ? No, I'm just kidding. Well, if it is your mom, only you can tell. But it's the Nine of Wands, and Wands is a very spiritual card. So that's also the other reason why it takes me to a place of religion. But uh, I feel like, yeah, you're practically Jesus, honey. Please, let's. Well, you do walk around in Birkenstocks, don't you? Anyways, I'm saying, but let's just say this: this person, they question your integrity, they question your drive, they question, they like kind of like, I feel like they put you on shaky ground. They put you feeling unstable. They make you question. This is their, like, I feel like it could actually be your mom, because I don't feel like it's a bad person per se. I just feel like their information is outdated or being used against you. Maybe not, maybe in an effort to help you, but it's not really the information that works for you or that is truly helping you. Does that make sense? And so that's why, like, when the center card is upside down, it sort of kind of throws you off your center and pushes your attempts at success upside down. Does that make sense? And it inverts you and makes you question everything, and you're like, oh shit, kind of thing. Not necessarily a horrible person, just I feel like this person is, like, their beliefs or what they're telling you, how they're seeing you, how they're viewing you is outdated. It isn't current. It isn't who you really are. They may mean well. They may tell you, it could be your mom actually. And there's this whole, I feel like there's this sort of religious tie to it too. Um, so I just want you to be aware that they're there and they're having an effect on you, and their effect on you may not be to your benefit. So I would be really cautious on anybody who's sort of giving you advice because they care about you, but the advice, you're like, no, that doesn't work for me. That's them. I would just let them keep their advice to themselves, or like listen to it, let it go in one ear and out the other. But maybe this is your mom, and that's the reason why it can't go in one ear and out the other, because you're connected to her and you love her, and so you want to have to listen to her and that sort of thing. But I feel like she's watching you, but she's not. She's not like current. Like she's not. She doesn't really understand you, or something. Like she just doesn't match. Like her information is out of date. That's the best way I can put it. It's like religious and out of date. On the other side, the other outside influence is the Sage of Crystals. This to me is also feels like a male. This person I feel like might be a teacher of some sort to you. It feels like it's an older male. Crystals deals with the mind. That's why I kind of think teacher, but it also feels like this person gives you sort of, how do I want to say it? Like the impetus to think more, where the other person, this other card, kind of challenges you to question yourself and doubt yourself. This person, sort of, this male figure, sort of opens your mind up and shows you different possibilities, different ways of thinking, challenges you to sort of um, like find your own information. That's why the card is called knower, right? So when I think of knower, it's like finding going about our own way in our own plan and finding our own information, and knowing it, truly knowing it for ourselves. And that therein lies like power, right? And so I feel like this guy over here, this card over here, is the opportunity to have true power, true understanding, true knowledge or knowing of what it is you want. But you have to sort of expand your belief system, your ideas about things. They can't be limited. They can't be based in dogma. They can't be based in these ideas of, oh, I've got to struggle really hard. I've got to work really hard for everything I earn, or whatever it is that you're telling yourself. This card over here is trying to open you up, trying to like expand your mind and let you see that the possibilities are there and sort of kind of endless. And once you begin to start to know them and believe them, this success path is there for you. And it's obtainable and you can have it. And these ideas, these incubating ideas that are happening in the soul space can also come forward at that point. But like you need to like sort of open up your mind a little bit. This card over here, this Nine of Wands, where she's sort of like kind of her thinking is outdated or whatever, her programming is outdated. She's kind of holding you back, I think, in some ways, in how you think. Okay, so the last card is the outcomes card. And as I've said, the outcomes, the outcome is not necessarily set in stone. It's just sort of something that's coming down the pipe if we keep continuing to head down the way that we're heading. If we want it to happen, we don't have to change much. We just continue to do what we're doing and we'll head right directly towards this card. If we don't want this card to happen, then we can make the choices and changes to affect the outcome so that something different will happen. So the card that comes up for you is the Sage of Wands, which is interesting because the card that I feel like is this outdated information, that is this person that's, sort of making you question your integrity and your ability, the Nine of Wands. I feel like that's the Nine of Wands, right? And this outcome is the Sage of Wands. The Sage of Wands to me feels like you. This feels like you. The card is called Seer. But when I look at this card, it feels like, do you see all the orange and flame and fire? It feels resentful to me. When I look at this card, it feels like you could be heading towards like some bitterness and resentment. Yeah, pretty much bitterness and resentment. Like it almost has like a I told you so kind of attitude. Like, let me look at this for 1 minute. Okay, so I'm going to back up here. Like if I re-invert this success card, right? It says you're working really hard and you want success, right? But you don't necessarily feel like it's coming to you easily. And I invert this player card back to this child of worlds going upside down and being the loneliness and the things that you learned early on as a child that was maybe information that wasn't necessarily so good for you to have learned or to have seen, witnessed, and taken on as your own information. And then I look at this inverted Nine of Wands card, and then I put this Seer card on top of it. It makes complete sense to me why you would be a little bit embittered and pissed off and kind of like, see, I told you so. Because like you've been told your whole life by like the significant people in your life that like something wrong. In the sense, and I don't want to, it may not be exactly this, but I'm going to use this as an example. It's almost been like, it almost feels like you've been told all the way along, like, oh, you're not going to get this right. Just don't even try. Oh, you can't figure this one out. Forget about it. Oh, dear, don't struggle with that. Why don't you try something easier? It's that kind of a fucking energy or that kind of a sort of an understanding that's got all of these cards kind of wonky and upside down. And that's why this card is sort of pissed off at the end, because it's like you're working really hard. You're not fully quite getting there. You're not necessarily achieving the goal. And why you're angry in this card or why you're resentful in this card, it feels like to me, this is the Sage of Wands card, right? The Sage knows, hold on, I got people. Okay. The Sage is somebody that knows, right? Just the position of the card of Sage. So there's a knowledge here. There's a part of you that knows that some of the things that you want, the successes that you want, the what's out there for you, the goals that you have for yourself are available and obtainable, but you're not believing it. Like you're not um you've got too many outside influences telling you otherwise or have been telling you otherwise, that it feels like you've sort of bought into the lie in this card, or you're heading towards buying into the lie in this card. It's not permanently set in stone, but it looks like you might go through a period where you're a little bit pissed off, a little bit cynical, a little bit resentful, a little bit like, see, I told you so. They were right. I couldn't do it. This was going to be too hard for me. This is a pain in the ass. And this could be about work. This could be about relationships. This could be about a lot of different areas of your life, right? You could feel this sort of attitude or this sort of resentment or sort of pissed offness in a lot of different areas. I'd be wary of it because I don't feel like it's necessarily a great place for you to be, but I don't think it's necessarily an unfamiliar place. Like you've maybe been in this place before at other times in your life, is what I'm feeling. The only thing that I do see in this card, that in this spread here, is that this knower card, this Sage of Crystals, this like open-minded thinker, this possible teacher, older male person around you that might actually have a new way of thinking for you or a new way of opening up your mind. You may want to seek him out because he could very much be the antithesis or the antidote to this limiting belief that's coming out of this Nine of Wands. And he could, if you follow his teachings, or his not follow his teachings, but if you open your mind to his ideas and start to know your own information and live from that place, you might circumvent this Sage of Wands and this resentment and this bitterness and whatever naturally. Okay, but that's what I'm going to tell you I see. Unfortunately, we're not doing this over Facebook Live where we can talk back and forth, so I can hear more of your input. But I don't want you to be bitter, Sheldon. And I want you to have success, and you will. Like, you really can have success. And I think you need to believe that. And I think you do on some level, because if you didn't, the success card wouldn't be in the center of this spread. You're just working. It feels like the picture I get in my mind is it feels like you're spinning your wheels trying to get to it, and you see it that it's there, but it's like you can't quite reach it. And so if you spin your wheels long enough and hard enough and still don't reach it, you might find yourself in this position of being sort of like frustrated and pissed off and it's definitely got a "see, I told you so" kind of energy. Like, and I don't like that. So I think that like you can find your way out of this, but you've got to A, believe that you can find your way out of it. B, just stop listening to some of the old tapes, the old outdated stuff that's in your repertoire that you've picked up throughout your life. It was given to you in an effort to help you, but really at this point, at your age and where you're at and what you're trying to obtain, it's actually maybe hindering you a little bit, and you might not be aware of it. Well, now you're aware of it because we've talked about it. But and I think you are aware of it a little bit with the Sage of Wands, because it is a Sage card and he is burning so like sort of resentful. It's kind of like I just get this feeling like I want to sit here in the Sage of Wands card and be like, see, I fucking told you so. Like you're angry and all of them because you didn't get done what you wanted to get done because you listened to all of them. Does that make sense at all? Anyways, I'm gonna wrap that one up. I hope that helped. If anybody's new here, please subscribe to the channel. I've been on for an hour and a half already. Oh God, you guys wiping me out, and that was only 2 readings. See, this is why I don't like to do full card readings for online without like being on video, so I can't talk back to the person. Because I need the feedback just as much. It does help. Good. I'm glad, Sheldon. I'm glad. You've got this. The fact that you have the success card in your center means that you're focused on success. It's just a matter of how far away you're putting it from yourself. And how I'd be really conscious of how you voice your beliefs about getting success, or how much success you're allowed to have, or you know what I mean? It's something like that. It's something like that that's sort of self-limiting, that you don't even really know is maybe there. Well, you do know it's there, because that Sage of Wands card at the end, it's like you kind of knew. You were like, these people were all fucking lying to me this whole time, and I fucking knew it, and I still did it anyways. And that's why he's so pissed. But you've got that other teacher there. Hey Jamie, I just saw you said hi. How are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm doing readings over on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. I'm trying to get YouTube subscribers. I'm trying to start doing readings over on YouTube. Facebook has been a little bit of a challenge, let's say. So I'm trying. I like the YouTube format a little bit better. So I am trying to do that. So if you are on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Jill, hey Jill, I just saw Jill come on. I hope you're doing well. I think you're in Costa Rica, living a new life. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The address is pinned in the instructions of the video. I don't know if that's what that's called, but whatever. You're welcome, Sheldon. You're welcome. You know, you and I, we hung out a few times when I was in San Francisco, and I think we would have been really good friends. That's why I always tease you on Facebook, because I feel like I sort of know you even though I don't. And I think that you have all the tools for success. You just don't necessarily believe you do. And I think that might be because somebody's telling you you don't. So I'm here to tell you that you do. And hurry up and get there. Because you've got other ideas germinating in your spirit space that are going to be fucking cool. It's just a matter of getting to them. Yes. Look at Ducky putting up the link to my YouTube over there. Ducky, you're hired, girl. All right, so I'm going to do, let me see. I have a few. Is there any new? Marlene, you're new? Are you still here, Marlene? I'm not going to do another full reading because I'm kind of a little bit wiped out from doing 2 back-to-back, but I will do a couple yes-no questions with the pendulum. If you want, if you have a yes-no question, I can answer a quick yes-no question if you'd like, Marlene. Hey, Linda Ferguson. We need to get together. Message me, please. I hate the whole fucking thing. I'm the influencer. What do you mean by that, Richard? You mean the knower card? I don't understand. What do you mean I am the influencer? Marlene, are you still here? Maybe Marlene's left, or the lag is really bad. Let me pull a quick card for Jill because she asked. I'm just going to do one card for Jill because she's over in Facebook land and she can't remember her YouTube password. Oh, Marlene, you are here? Okay. Hold on one second, Jill. Let me do you have it? Marlene, I want you to think for a minute here of a really good yes/no question that you want a yes/no answer on. The more like specific you are, the better the yes/no will be. That's the trick with the pendulum. You don't want to ask a big old vague question or else you're going to get a big old vague answer. It's similar to cards, okay? No, you didn't miss it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull a card for Jill really quick on Facebook, and then I will do a yes/no question on the pendulum for you. But try and think of whatever the question is. Make sure that it's sort of specific. All right, Jill, give me one moment. Oh, I'm getting tired, you guys. Okay. You know what? Hold on one second. Okay. Okay, Jill, for you, I feel like there's a fair amount of resistance. Like you're dealing with a lot of stuff, but I feel like you're making it fit together well, if that makes any sense at all. Like even though you're working hard, it's coming together well and neatly. Like you're getting all your details, you're making sure you know get all the details straight. It's a lot of work, but you've gotten it done and you've done well, if that makes any sense at all. So the card that I get for you tonight is you're trying to make it fit. Well, if you think you're trying to, start believing that you are, because I felt like it was fitting. It's requiring work from you. Don't get me wrong. There was resistance in the cards, but I would feel when they would come together, they would kind of like snap together almost in a way, like it will fit together. So you've got to believe that and do it that way, right? Yes, you got to work to get them to fit, but they will come together and fit well. That was definitely what I was getting. They were like almost like it was like when they all came together. So the card that I get for you is Devil's Play. And this is like equivalent to the Devil card in most other tarot decks, but I don't see the Devil card as a bad thing. Devil's Play to me here is it feels like camaraderie. It also feels like it's like a cutting loose, a letting loose, a living on the edge, doing things that might feel slightly dangerous. But they're exciting. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but it feels like being on the edge. It's exciting. It's thrilling. There's a camaraderie in this card. Like maybe there's like new friendships that are happening. There might be a little bit of like celebrating going on. I don't know if you're in that frame of mind. This could be this feels like this could be, if you're not already doing these things or experiencing these things, they could be things that will be beginning for you, or like let me say this. Like right now, it feels like the idea of doing things that might be slightly dangerous or on the edge, that is going on now. But this is going to lead into a place where the celebration will happen, the camaraderie will happen. There will be new friends. There will be even maybe new boyfriends. There might even be new, excuse me for getting personal, cover your ears, YouTube. There might even be opportunities for sexual relations. Because the Devil's Play card is definitely about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, so to speak. I don't necessarily feel drugs from this card, but I do feel like there's opportunities here for like cutting loose, acting crazy, having a good time, uh, uh, and just being free. But right now, it might feel a little bit scary, a little bit nerve wracking, a little bit nervous, a little bit unknown. But let it feel that way. Trust it. It's sort of like the phrase that I want to say is like dance on the edge of the razor, for a minute, even though it feels a little bit dangerous or unknown. Enjoy it. When you get used to it, there will be some camaraderie. There will be some fun to be had. There will be some craziness and good times. And I think that things are good. Don't be too overindulgent, though. That would be my only warning with that card, is be careful not to get too overindulgent or let it get to be too much where you lose sight of like sort of the practicality of what needs to get done. Because there is, in that shuffle, there was a lot of like work to be done. Like you're doing a lot of work right now, but it's fitting together. You're saying you're trying to make it fit, but it actually is fitting. If you don't realize it yet, or you're being overly critical, stop. Enjoy yourself, cut loose a little bit. Enjoy the fact, if you said you just moved from Arizona to California, from California to Arizona. Is that what you said? I just moved to Arizona from California. So yeah, but all of that stuff, acknowledge that it's fitting. Even if it didn't go so perfectly, you're there, you've made it. So now enjoy yourself and have a good time. Have some fun, cut loose, enjoy the fact that you've made it, but don't overindulge. Don't lose sight of the fact that there's still work to be done. Okay, now I'm sorry, I gotta move back to the other screen. And find your damn password, Jill. Get over to YouTube. All the cool kids are doing it. All right. So it's me, Denise. Shouldn't influence your positive mail. What are you guys over here? You guys are having way too much fun in the chats. So where is Marlene? Okay. Marlene, did you come up with a yes/no question for me? Or do you just want a card, Marlene? If you just want a card, I can pull one more card. So you did think of the question. What is your question? But I need. Do you want a card? No. Don't tell me too much about feeling like a nun. Don't tell me anything. I don't want to know anything. Do you want me to just pull a card for your love life? Will you be with your soulmate this year? All right. So yes/no question. Will Marlene Munoz be with her soulmate this year? Okay, Marlene, I'm getting a no on that. It's not a very strong no, but it's a no. I hate to tell you that. Maybe that's because you're asking about your soulmate, though. Maybe that's why it's not such a strong no, in the sense that maybe you might be with somebody else this year, but just not your soulmate. I never like telling somebody, oh no, you're not gonna find your soulmate. So callous, so hateful. Well, okay. Will Ducky find $1 billion? That's a big no, Ducky. You're not going to find $1 billion. I'm sorry. I mean, if you did, if Ducky found $1 billion, would she book a reading with me? I still get a no. Ducky, you cheap bitch. I guess that really means you're not going to find $1 billion. Oh, you buy me for $1 billion? Just buy me an island. That's all I need. I just need an island with electricity and a toilet and like a bunch of bulldogs on it. That's what I want. That's my idea of heaven. A sunny island that's like temperate though, so that the bulldogs aren't uncomfortable. It would need to be like in the 70s at all times during the year. That's what I need. Easy, right? All right. I think that's it. An hour and 45 minutes. This was a long pop up. I'm really surprised. Thank you guys all for attending. I had a really fun time. It was good. I might do this more often. When I say that, I usually disappear for months on end. But I won't, I promise. Tomorrow morning will be Tuesday, April 2nd. We'll have our daily draw for the energy of the day. How was everybody's day today with the universe card? Just wondering. Did anybody feel stuck with the multitude of choices, good or bad, that they weren't sure they wanted to choose from? Anybody? Anyone? You're welcome for the live, Sage. I get a yes from Ducky. Shitty day. Was it a shitty day because you didn't find $1 billion, Ducky? Is that why it was a shitty day? Because I didn't get my fucking island. So I had an even shittier day than you. You know what? Okay, so let me see if I can dig this up. Hold on one second. I don't know if I go out here if I will get lost on the YouTube. Am I still on the camera, guys? I don't know. Let me see here. I'm gonna try and do something here. I'm gonna share this with you guys. I shared it yesterday. This I've been listening to. Oh shit. I don't know where. That's okay. I'm so like retarded. Okay. Does that work? Okay. I've been listening to this for like probably the past 48 hours. I just typed it in the chat. I love it. It's really good. You met your soulmate in Facebook jail? Oh, that's so hot. Did you guys like carve shivs together and keister toilet paper? For those of you that don't know what that is, you don't want to know. So anybody that's in here that's not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. My name is Engelgeist. I do readings. All my contact information is in the About page. Personal readings can be purchased. I try and keep them very inexpensive. They're $40 for an hour. You get me on the phone or on Facebook Live video. You can ask 1 hour, one subject reading. I work with tarot cards. I also do pendulum readings, and I kind of just also read for my clairvoyance or empathy, like my empath stuff, what I'm feeling emotionally while I'm reading you. Looks like most subscribed. Yay, and thanks to all. Yay, I got in. Yay, hey Jill, now subscribe. Yay, yay. Because I think that like once I hit a certain amount of subscribers, I can then make a customized URL and do other stuff, but I need enough subscribers, please. Give me more subscribers. Can we play this song while we're on YouTube? It's probably going to get me in trouble, right? Oh, I guess it won't let me. Will it? Will it play in the background?
Lately,
Can you hear that?
I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. When the morning comes.
The reason why this song fucks me up is it feels like it's my spirit singing to me.
Every argument,
and it makes me feel like, I don't know. If you listen to the lyrics, I just think that it's my, I don't know. I was writing it.
I want to change my mind. This just don't feel right to me. I want to raise your spirits.
I want to raise your spirits.
I want to see you smile. No, that means I'll have to leave.
And when he says, I know that means we'll have to leave, I kind of feel like that's maybe me leaving Mexico. Because like the truth is I haven't been very happy here the last couple of weeks, maybe month or two. And so it's funny because I heard that in the cab. I had never heard that song before the other day, and I was listening to it in the Uber, and that song, it just felt like it was like fucking my spirit talking right to me, going, I want you to be happier, so if we have to go, let's go. Let's just do it. Anyways. All right, so you guys are all having a chat amongst yourselves. I don't know if I should leave the video on just so you guys can continue talking. I'm gonna say goodnight to Facebook. Good night, Ducky. You're the only one over on Facebook. Have a good night. Thank you for keeping the roost safe over here. I'm gonna sign off, even though I know you're over here on YouTube. So I'm gonna sign off. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight for this little pop-up. That was good. I can't believe we just shared that video that had one person in it the entire time. Thank you guys for coming and watching. Hopefully I will do more pop-ups. I have a whole slew of decks up there that some aren't even unopened that I want to play with and explore and read from. I'm so used to reading with this deck that I don't know what will happen if I read from another deck. We'll have to see. It could be interesting. I mean, I've read from other decks throughout my life for sure. One of my oldest decks is up there, the Raw Rig. I've had it for years and years and years. But some of them, some I bought that are really new that I haven't even opened, and I want to play with them. So we'll have to do more pop-ups, and I'm glad you guys have come to YouTube. So keep an eye out for me. I know I'm still learning how to notify people and stuff, but if you're subscribed, it should let you know when I'm on. And listen to that song because I want you to be happier, even if that means I have to leave, which I'm going to do that now because we're almost at the 2-hour mark. All right. Have a good night, you guys. And I will talk to you tomorrow in the morning for Tuesday's card. All right. Bye.